Good morning, pussycat. Thanks for drying my seat out. It's very good of you. I need to use that later on. Okay, in this vid I'm going to set the camera up on a tripod, and this is almost a how-to vid. But again, I never tell anybody what to do, I just say what I do. So if you watched the previous video, you know I'm in the process of flushing out all my pots. I think I called it starting again or something like that. So all I'm going to do is just show the procedure that I'm using, just basically to clear out any muck, undissolved salts, dried out fertilizers that have crystallized, all that sort of stuff, and show the effect it has. Okay, I'll have to set the tripod up because I need two hands, and I'll line up a few pots and sort of show what I do. That's alright, you can stay there, cat, you're not in the way at the moment. You'll probably scat as soon as I start chucking water around. Cats and water don't mix too well. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, off we go. Okay, back on up and running. I've picked on some plants that have got blooms on purely because it'll just add a bit of interest, that's all. This is my Odontoglossum that's just coming out, now called Oncidium, but anyway, these plants have got sensitive roots. They burn. They need looking after. They need relatively low feed levels, and they need their roots looking after. They also like to stay cool, so this is not the best place for this to live, but I've found a cool place. Okay, and all I do, don't have a go about me reusing water. Those that have done it before, you've had my answers. This is what I do. So I'm flushing. This water is pure. It's got a TDS reading of 9 and it has a pH of 6.9. That's my starting point. So what I do to flush a pot is I pour water in. Following this so far? I'm sure I'm going to be in the way a lot of the time, but I can't get the tripod anywhere else. This is as best as I can do, and it's only just to show an example. So as you can see, I'm pouring a lot of water through the pot. I would not normally get this plant this wet, but this is to serve a purpose. It's important for me, so I'm absolutely drowning the thing. Literally, the amount of water that's going through this pot is making everything soaking wet, and then the next lot of water that goes through, any fertilizer that's lying around will have dissolved, because it doesn't take a moment to dissolve the stuff that I use. It dissolves very fast, and then the subsequent pouring of the water washes it through into the bowl, which is wherein lies some of the problem in the first place, I know. But okay, so that's that one done, and then I let as much drain into there as I can. I could drain that somewhere else, but I drain it back in there. I don't like wasting water. Okay, occasionally I let them drain and throw the water on the part of the concrete floor. Helps add to the humidity. I don't mind. That to me isn't waste. Anyway, that's that one done. Next. This is my Prosthetia green Hornet. Hang on, I've got to work out where the thing goes. Look at that posh label on this one. That's because it went to a show, and the guy in the Orchid Society that does our labels has got the most nice handwriting, and we always use green with white writing on. That's the only reason it's got a posh label. I don't do posh labels. That's my label. That's not posh. Anyway, same principle applies. Now this one is ready to be watered, so I'm not going to be over watering it as such, and in the sort of temperatures in the summer, it's probably going to dry out totally in a couple of days anyway. Okay, this is just a standard sort of bark mix which I use for most of my orchids. So it's I use Orchiata bark, mainly because it's rock hard and it supposedly lasts for years. I can't say it does because I haven't been using it long enough for it to have had years to last. But it is, oh, there's some lovely new growths coming on that, whoopee. Okay, so I've poured a nice lot of water through, I've soaked everything and then continued to rinse. That's the process I'm using. That's that one done. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Come on, I haven't got all day. We've got another 50 plants to do yet. That's 2 done. Now, just as a matter of interest, I've done 2 pots. Let's see where the TDS reading's gone so far. Remember, I started at 9. I've done 2 pots. The TDS reading has gone to 64. Yeah? That's 2 pots. So it's already on the rise. As a consequence, I'm only going to do 1 more in that water, and then I'm going to change it. I will literally have to waste that, although I won't totally waste it, it's going out in the garden, and then I'll put some fresh in and start flushing again. If I carry on flushing and do 20 plants, the TDS in here is going to soar to the point where it's no longer flushing. I'd actually be feeding my plants with the residue that's come out of the other pots. So I'm only going to do 1 more. This is a brass Eider, one of the commoner garden ones that you can often pick up in garden centres and home stores and the like. Again, this has been recently repotted, so the media it's in is fresh. And with the bark that I use, it also means, certainly for the first couple of weeks, it's quite difficult to actually get wet. It dries incredibly quick for the first few weeks, and then it settles down and accepts the water a bit better. Okay. Now, some of you may be a little worried about that. Yeah? These types of plants do that. As the leaves go on the older bulbs, they've often got brown markings on them. Some of them have spotting. And in this particular case, a lot of people would be worried about that. That is streaking, colour discoloration on the bulbs. Now, I know this plant's clean, it's not virused. All that is actually wrong with it is prior to it being repotted, it was in a store-bought media and it had deficiencies in whatever they'd been feeding it on. And it's as simple as that. Once the new growths start, it will remove that. Now that it's getting a balanced feed with all the micro ingredients and everything, it will sort itself out. You could potentially be taking a risk at this point. I accept that risk. If this is a virus plant, I've just poured water through the pot with the potential to spread that virus. So don't do as I do, follow the instructions that others give. This is what I do. I don't believe that plant's virus despite its appearance. Okay? But irrespective of that, I'm changing my water now, so I'm breaking my own rules. Okay, I've done 3. And my TDS reading has gone to, come on, tell me, well, it's gone to 71. So you can see that the first 2 plants actually chucked out quite a lot of, dried up fertiliser that had sort of set on the media, probably crystallised, and in some cases with really sensitive orchids could have done a little bit of damage to the roots. Salts build up is not a good thing. However, that last one I've watered added virtually nothing. The reason it added virtually nothing is purely because it's in brand new media that hasn't got to the stage where it's started to break down, at which point it can hold much more water, it would stay wet for longer, and when it did dry out there is the potential for a salt build-up. So anyway, I've done 3, I'll now change the water. You can see the effect I'm having. I'm flushing the pots through. Hopefully there's next to no residual fertiliser left in the ones I've done, and I've now got about another 50 to do. So I'm getting through some water, both yesterday, I spent over half a day yesterday, I'll probably spend half a day today. When I've finished, I'll be happy that they've all been flushed once. I'm on about the pots at the moment. I mean, my mounts actually get watered virtually every day. They've already been flushed through, so they're fine now. It's just the pots. And when I get onto the cattleyas, they're going to take 5, 6, maybe even 7 or 8 days to dry out before I can flush them a second time, because I want to do them all twice. So this procedure is going to take a while, but I'm happy to do it. I know why I'm doing it and I know the effect it's going to have, so I'm happy to do it. I will also do it far more frequently than I've done before. Okay, so that was just to sort of show you what I mean by flushing pots out. To be pedantic and do it absolutely properly, I should be changing the water after every single flush. Well, that's just too much. I'd be here for weeks just getting through the first flush. So I can't do it. It's for practical reasons. I'm doing a number of pots at a time. I check my readings, and as soon as the TDS level starts to get up, 50, 60, 70, I change the water and start again afresh. And sometimes I can do a dozen plants and it's only got up to sort of 40 or 50. It depends on how old the media is, how big the pot is, how full of roots the pot is, all sorts of variables. Okay, so just a quick one, not really a how-to, just a how I do. I'll make that clear again. And again, I'll say it again, I do not recommend reusing your water. It's just what I do. Okay, thanks for dropping by. See you again.